Hello fellow warriors, Havok here, welcome back. As of making this video, it's been a couple of days since the patch for Virtual Fighter 5 Revo World Stage has dropped, patch 1.10 to be exact, and it's brought with it a lot of changes, some consider controversial, but I personally really like them, so let's get down to it. First of all, after years of begging Sega, we finally got a Wi-Fi indicator for online, so ranked matches, room matches, you name it. So with that, bye bye Wi-Fi warriors, it's not been a pleasure. Go to your dearest store, get that cable, and we'll welcome you back with open arms. Do everybody a favor, yo. Now, gameplay changes in particular. The first change off the bat, the most important one, the movement change. So they changed the window. It said in the patch notes that they changed the window from 10 frames to 13 frames for being able to perform any kind of dash out of an evade. And actually, the first time I read it, I thought it was a buff. I thought they actually widened the window so you have more freedom in doing that, and some of my friends actually got that impression as well, and some of them even had like a theory that they did this to perhaps attract Tekken players because Tekken 8 bad movement, come and play Virtual Fighter. Well, no, turns out that wasn't the case at all. Turns out this is actually a nerf. So you can only do the dashes out of an evade later than you were originally able to. But when I tested it out in the game, it doesn't really feel. You can still do them pretty fluidly, so and you get used to it really fast. So it doesn't really affect the way your movement flows. But on the other hand, it enables plenty of like stance-based characters whose stances were not as strong before. For example, Jeffrey, for example, Lau, where they would have like in their respective stances, they would have like quick linear options that you could evade, and then they had like a full circular high option for catching like evades, but it was quite slow, and with the right timing you could actually at the same time, you could option select like evade into crouch dash, so you would evade the linear attack and still be in time to duck under the high full circular attack, which made their stances not as strong. Well, now that's gone, and just because of that fact, their stances have become way more potent. So yeah, good for them. The next change is another pretty controversial change, some would say, the change to staggers. So across the board, plenty of attacks that used to cause stagger will now cause a guard break. Not all things, like attacks by the wall that would cause wall staggers still cause wall staggers. It's mostly like attacks that you would use in the field or attacks from stances that would cause staggers. That has been in large part replaced with guard breaks. Mind you, not like really big ones. It's usually like plus 13 or plus 14, so you can get like an elbow in there, which I personally like, because the thing with staggers is like, well, don't get me wrong, all mechanics in VF5 are solid, yeah? But out of all those mechanics, I think staggers were like the most random one. Because for those of you who don't know, some attacks would cause you to go into a stagger state where you have to wiggle the stick and mash buttons to get out of it, and if you don't react in time, if you don't do anything at all, or if you're really bad at it, the opponent might even get like a really big launcher on you, like 18 frames or even above that, and basically obliterate like half your health bar. But on the other hand, if you were really good at breaking staggers, perhaps the only thing that would be guaranteed on you would be like a PK, yeah, so that's small damage. Or unless you were like a Japanese cyborg, then probably not even that. The opponent would probably only be able to get like a mix-up on you or something like that. So let's say if on one end of the spectrum, you had like being juggle punished, and on the other hand you had like small damage PK or something. Let's say they cut it down to like a 30% reward, so now you'll mostly only be able to get like a like an elbow, yeah. So I guess it sucks if you were really good at staggers. I guess it rocks if you were really bad at breaking staggers, like me. I'm really happy about that. I guess it evens out the playing field a little bit more. And also, I guess if you played somebody for a long time, you get used to like how good they were with breaking staggers and how big of a reward you could grant yourself. But if you were playing somebody for the first time, let's say like online or offline at a tournament or something like that, and you didn't know how good or bad they were at breaking staggers, you kind of had to like guess or take a risk. Do I go for that launcher, or like is he any good, or maybe a slower reward? Can I do a 15 frame punish? Can I do a 13 frame punish? Whatever. So that's gone. Now it's more solid. So I guess only time will tell how this will be received. So far I'm very happy. Now moving on to the winners and losers of the patch, character wise. Oh, okay. Before we get on to that, one little side note. For those of you who know me, I have been a Shun main for, I want to say 5 years now or something like that. Well, that has changed 2 months ago. I actually decided to start maining Jeffrey, who before was like a secondary character for me, more like a fun character. But like 2 months ago I got this thought that I actually really like to play somebody who is like maybe less gimmicks based and more like pure VF, and Jeffrey is all about that. People say that perhaps he's the most fair character in the whole roster, debatable of course, but he also has nifty stuff like, you know, he has crouch throws, he has ground throws, he has a KG cancel, which is I really love those mind games that you can do with that. And it just so happens that with this patch, Shun got nerfed to the ground and Jeffrey got Omega buffed. So lucky me, I guess. So moving on, I was gonna say that Super Golden, a friend who lives in Tokyo, who also has a really awesome channel with fight videos of Asian players. I'll link it down below, check it out, it's really awesome. He posted recently a win percentage chart ever since the patch rolled in, and from that we can see that Jeffrey is winning bigly. I'll pin that down as well for your consideration. He's got 55% win ratio right now. Now why is that, you might ask? Because they gave him everything. I was just telling you about those staggers that got changed into guard breaks, yeah? So Jeffrey got not 1 guard break, not 2 guard breaks, but 3 of them. That's crazy. So one is from a stance, and that's cool. I like that change, the P plus K from threat stance. But the one that I think is really busted is the axe kick, 6K plus G. It's normally a really slow move, but it has very particular applications in Oki, like especially by the wall. You can make it so it's timed perfectly with the opponent's wake up. So if they try to do a wake up kick, they get hit and you're at like plus 18, so you can knee launch and, like, you know, annihilate them. And before, if you blocked it, you got staggered and, you know, probably like PK, something like that, small reward. But now on guard it also guard breaks, and because it hits meaty, you get like a massive reward. So actually you can even get plus 18 even on guard. So you get plus 18 if they press a button, and you get plus 18 if they don't press a button if they hold guard. So, well, of course there's countermeasures, right? You don't have to roll, you can just stay on the ground or something like that, play around with your wake up timing. Still, I think that's pretty busted. Maybe Sega changed something about that, because it's nuts. We'll see anyway. Yeah, so apparently the other winner, judging by the win percentage chart, is Leifei, who's at 52%, which I'm happy about because he was always like, he was, by some, he was considered the weakest character in the game. So I don't know if it's the movement change that affected that in particular, so his stances are more potent, but good on him. Then, actually, I'm surprised that Sarah made it into A tier, because I browsed through her patch notes and it seemed to me that she mostly got nerfs. But then I saw people posting like combo videos online, and particularly on Taka, she can do like 120 points of damage or something like that. So mind you, her damage was always big on like lightweight characters, like really big. One of the reasons why I hated playing Shun against her. But now if she can do that kind of levels of damage on like bigger characters as well, then like good on her, good on her. Then we also have Kage and Pai in the A tier, so I guess they got a slap on the wrist as usual, because they were considered like in the top 5 before by Japanese players. And Leon is up there as well, but I'm not surprised, Leon always strong. Jackie is apparently still at 50-something% in B tier, so yeah, I guess he got a slap on the wrist as well as usual. But now the losers of the patch, yeah? So Shundi got hit really hard, his PPPK from the side is gone, it's been reverted back to what it used to be, it's not guaranteed anymore, which is fair enough, even I said it was busted, it's a little bit too much of a reward for a character like that. But on the other hand, I'm really sad about the change to like his drinking from the sit-down stance. They reverted it back to 2 drinks, in the previous patch it was 3 drinks, and well, on one hand, plenty of characters in the previous patch got plenty more new tools to take away his drinks, and it was supposed to be kind of like balancing itself out. I guess they decided Shun was getting too much drinks in the long run, but on the other hand, this didn't mean that this was his own one and only and absolute best to go to way post round. It actually enhanced his drinking game in a very interesting way. So like before you would do 3P4, which would get you 4 drinks, and if you did like sit down and drink, you could get up to 6, but you would have to do it like immediately after you use the attack that KO'd the opponent, and if you were even a split second off, you would not be able to get like 2 chugs in, you would only be able to do 1, so you'd only get 3 drinks, and so you might as well have just done 3P4, because then you would have 4, so it was always like, you always had something interesting to do post round, like, oh, do I go for the 4 drinks, or maybe I should go for the 6 drinks, do I have enough time, do I not, so a little bit sucks that it's gone. Yeah, and overall Shun received a lot of nerfs. He did get 1 stagger change from like the slide punch for free P plus K. Yeah, that used to stagger before, now with guard breaks, but I think it's like only something small. I can't remember the exact number right now. So anyway, not a Shun main anymore. We'll see how he ends up. I still wish the old man good luck, but yeah, it might be a little bit rough. Moving on, but Taka, I'm really happy that they finally reverted that goddamn Shiko Stomp OTG thing that he got in the newest patch. They reverted it back to like what it was in Ultimate Showdown and Final Showdown, because seriously, he's super strong without it. He really didn't need it, that extra, like as if he didn't do enough damage, and as if he wasn't a threat already, so good riddance to that. Yeah. And Vanessa got hit, apparently. My friends from Tokyo, shoutouts to Supersonic and Keitol guy, they were crying to me before that they like nerfed, she has that guarding 8-2 or 8P or 2P attack that would give her like 10 minutes of invulnerability, where her hurtbox would disappear off the screen, Uchiha Obito style. Well, that's gone, so nah, I'm joking. I hope they buff her again, because she's always been a cool cool character, or perhaps we'll find out that the nerfs weren't as drastic in the long run. We'll see. So yeah, overall, plenty of things to look forward to. Sega, of course, announced the new round of qualifiers all over the world, of course leading up to the World Championships again. So we'll definitely be seeing plenty of characters in action. We'll see how the new patch changes affect balance over the next year. And they still haven't announced all of the venues. I'm still somewhat hoping that perhaps Taiwan will be one of them. One can dream, but we'll see. If not, perhaps I might actually make my way to Australia for one of the qualifiers. We'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. For the next video, I might actually do in Polish. I have this topic that's been on my mind for a while. So yeah, stay tuned everybody, thanks for listening, and keep on fighting, warriors. Yo! P.S. I've had this thought recently, and I've shared it with some of my friends already. You know how evades work in this game, right? Everything can be avoided unless it tracks to one way or the other, or it's full circular. Imagine if mids worked in a similar way, whereas like nothing could ever go underneath them. Because I'm sure you've had situations where like certain high crushing moves like Akira's sliding punch that 3 P plus K, yeah, or stances, you know, think Shondi, Lei Fei, Pai, the like, you know, they can go underneath mids. Certain mids, not all of them, just some of them. But imagine if there was a system in place that prohibited that from happening. So nothing could ever go underneath any mid whatsoever, period. Do you think that would be a good idea, or am I just tripping? Feel free to let me know. Yo, over and out.